It's a long story. I was born in Brooklyn, and I grew up in Brooklyn and Long Island. In many ways, a very traditional Jewish home.
Grew up in Chicago in the Jewish neighborhood.
When I was about 21 years old, back in Israel, just got out of the service.
I was born in southern part of Russia.
I grew up in a middle-class Jewish family in Crown Heights. My father was Orthodox, and my mother was kind of secular Jewish.
Both my parents are Jewish. My grandmother on my mom's side and grandfather were very, very Orthodox.
I was doing my own thing. I didn't even consider God. I didn't think about God.
And I remember being in college and getting really involved in the whole party scene and party life. But it was still so important to me that one night I'd be having a party in the dorm that would get a little out of hand and get us a little in trouble. Maybe the police would come knocking on the door. And the next day I'd be in the cafeteria explaining, well, Pesach is coming, so we need to have matzah for all the Jewish students.
Maybe it's God's irony, but one of the subjects I taught for 10 years at the university was scientific atheism.
The whole idea about God was just foreign, and nobody really talked about it, and nobody wanted to talk about it because it wasn't something that people even discussed.
I just decided that I've got to do something to radically change my life. I don't know what it is, I don't know what I need to do, but right at that point, LSD seemed like the solution.
You haven't lived till you've had a sawed-off shotgun put on your neck. Very cold, very metallic. All I could think about was I was about to lose my life to earn about $1,000.
I was catapulting. I was just like going down this chute, like a chute like to hell.
And then I go to this thing, and all of a sudden I start learning about what the standard for a young man should be. And all of a sudden I'm finding out I'm not doing quite as good as I thought I was, because I thought I had this pretty licked.
Come home and ask me questions, and I'll be like, I don't know. You know, and it's like, what kind of Jew are you? You don't even know, you know, you can't answer me. And that really shook me. I was like, okay, what kind of Jew am I?
But she knocked on the door and said, "Get Ephraim, I've got really, really good news." And I said, "Oh boy, man, this could be, you know, a new drug that I never heard of." And I said, "What's the good news?" And she said, "You're both going to hell."
And she said to me, "Do you know that Jesus loves you?" And I said, huh?
Only from Tanakh. I don't want to hear a New Testament. If he's the Jewish Messiah, you can show him to me in the Tanakh.
I remember just cringing. I didn't like it. You know, I would always tell him, please leave that out of it. I don't want to hear the name. I don't want to hear about it, you know?
And I said, "Joni, Jews don't believe in Jesus. Our ancestors died because we wouldn't convert to Christianity. Now you're telling me that you believe in Jesus. You are a traitor."
Look, now you're just disrespecting me. I said no New Testament, and clearly that's New Testament. And she said, yeah, clearly it's talking about Jesus. It's talking about Yeshua, but this is the Tanakh. Let's look at it.
And I sensed almost viscerally, physically, this presence in the room that I couldn't explain, but I knew in one moment that the spiritual battle that I was involved with was not me against these people, but it was with me and this presence. And I was melted. I was scared to death. In 1 nanosecond, I went from Jewish fighter, ready to do battle with the Christian enemy, to just a little piece of jello.
I felt like the wall that was between me and God was broken.
I'm like, wait, something happened here. And I didn't even really know the words for it, but I was like, I remember describing, like, feeling like new life and new blood running through me, and like chains had fallen off, like I understood, and suddenly all those prophecies really clearly made sense.
Early when I was taking that LSD, I was flooded with anxiety and fear and covered with all this poisonous doubt and just, you know, darkness. I could just feel all of that just leaving me. I could just feel his love just filling me.
And I had prayed, God, show me, and show me how I'm supposed to get to you. And there's a New Testament at midnight on a ledge in a phone booth in the middle of the redwood forest, shining in the moonlight. What would you do? I stole it.
We started to feel that something is happening in our life. That this one who was pretty far from us is coming closer. And he has authority. And he's taking the attention of our hearts. And not only attention, but the feelings of our hearts. And he is behaving like a master. And he's behaving as a lover of us. It was extremely wonderful feeling.
And I think that's what really got to me the most. It was the simple, profound truth. It was not anything complicated. Everybody can understand this. You don't need to be, you don't need to be a rabbi. You don't need to be a genius. You're just simple and so profound and so truth.
And I began seeing that they were one in the same book, one in the same story. The old spoke about what was coming, and the new told us what had come.
And when they explained to me that Jesus died for me, for my sin, it made all the difference in the world, because I knew he died, and I knew that he didn't deserve to die, but I just had no clue why he died.
Whatever was out there, whatever I could get addicted to, whatever that was, I was pretty much into. And he just took that all away from me instantly, just without even asking for it. But God wanted to use me as a testimony of his faithfulness, his covenant. And that the fact that I'm standing here today proclaiming this is a fact that he is faithful to his covenant.